You're minding your own business. Flipping burgers at your nephew's graduation pool party in your own backyard. When the HOA president marches in like she owns the deed and starts screaming about unauthorized gatherings. What she didn't know was that one entitled phone call to the cops would end up costing her the throne she'd ruled with an iron clipboard for years. The neighborhood of Maple Grove looked like the kind of place they filmed those wholesome commercials, perfectly trimmed hedges, identical beige houses with matching shutters, and streets so clean you could eat off them. On paper, it was the American dream. In reality, it was a pressure cooker wrapped in white picket fences. And the lid on that cooker had a name, Karen Whitaker. I'm Ryan Harper. I bought my place outright a couple years back. No mortgage drama. Just me and the backyard pool that came with the property. That pool was the reason I picked the house. It wasn't some flashy status symbol. It was where my family could actually relax. My sister's kids could cannonball without worrying about strangers at the public rec center. My buddies could grill without apartment rules. Simple stuff. Karen saw it differently. She was the HOA president. Self-appointed guardian of suburban perfection. Always in pastel cardigans. Hair sprayed into submission. And that clipboard glued to her hand like a holy text. The first few months after I moved in, it was just the passive-aggressive notes. Garbage cans must be stored by 10 a.m. Lawn height exceeds guidelines. Vehicle parked 2.3 inches over the curb line. I chuckled at the first couple. By the third, I started noticing her, standing at the edge of my property, squinting like she was auditing a crime scene. Then the rumors started. At the community potluck, I overheard her whispering to the book club ladies, "That new guy on Elm Street? He's turning his backyard into a frat house." Kids running wild. Music blaring. Property values are going to tank if we don't do something. She'd smile sweetly while saying it. All concerned neighbor vibes. I'm only saying this for the children. I kept my mouth shut. Smiled. Nodded. Went home. But I watched. And I started saving every note. Every time-stamped photo she took from the sidewalk. Every little dig. Patience isn't weakness. It's loading the clip. The pool became her obsession. Never mind that the county deed clearly showed the backyard and pool sat on private land. Carved out long before the HOA even existed. Karen treated it like a public nuisance. She'd pace the fence line. Phone out. Recording evidence of kids splashing too loudly or too many cars in my driveway. One time she actually measured my grill's distance from the property line with her little heel steps. My buddy caught it on video and we laughed until we cried. But underneath the laugh was that low burn, someone was trying to police joy itself. I let it slide for a long time. Life's too short for every battle. But when my nephew Jake graduated high school with honors, my sister begged for a proper celebration. Just family and close friends. Ryan. He deserves it after everything. I agreed. We kept it reasonable, maybe 30 people tops. Burgers. Soda for the kids. A little music. String lights. Nothing crazy. Just normal summer happiness. 3 days before the party, Karen's latest reminder showed up in my mailbox. Large gatherings require prior board approval. Failure to comply will result in immediate fines and possible legal action for disruption of community harmony. I read it, crumpled it, and tossed it in the trash. Approval for my own backyard? Cute. The morning of the party dawned bright and hot. The kind of perfect June day that makes you grateful for chlorine and sunscreen. Guests rolled in laughing. Coolers stomping onto the patio. Kids already kicking off shoes. Jake wore his graduation cap sideways, beaming like the world was his. My sister hugged me tight. This is exactly what we needed. Across the street, Karen stood on her lawn like a sentinel. Phone up. Jaw tight. I raised my iced tea in her direction with a little smile. Her face went the color of a ripe tomato. She lasted about 40 minutes. The gate slammed open so hard it bounced off the fence. Karen stormed in wearing her signature pastel armor. Clipboard raised like a battle standard. Conversations died mid-sentence. The music seemed to drop a notch on its own. Kids paused mid-splash. Water dripping. What in heaven's name is going on here? She demanded. Voice pitched high enough to cut glass. This is a blatant violation of every community standard we have. I set my spatula down slowly and walked over, keeping my tone even. Afternoon. Karen. It's a family graduation party. Private property. You're welcome to grab a plate if you'd like. Her eyes bulged. Private property? Every home in Maple Grove is subject to HOA covenants. Excessive guests. Amplified noise. Potential safety hazards with that water feature. This is chaos. A couple of my buddies chuckled. One muttered. Lady needs a burger and a nap. Karen's head snapped toward him like a turret. I pulled the folded deed copy from my back pocket. Yeah. I'd started carrying it weeks ago, and held it up. This says otherwise. County records. The pool and this section of the yard were deeded separately decades ago. HOA has zero jurisdiction here. You know that. For half a second, something like panic flickered across her face. Then the mask slammed back down. Paper can be challenged. The board has discretionary authority when community harmony is threatened. And this, she waved dramatically at the laughing kids and sizzling grill, is a threat. She was breathing hard now. That righteous fury turning her neck blotchy. The kind of anger that comes from realizing the script isn't going her way. Then she did it. Pulled out her phone. Dialed 911 right there in front of everyone. And put it on speaker like she was starring in her own cop drama. Yes. Officer. I need to report an unauthorized event at 142 Elm Street. Excessive gathering. Noise violation. Possible underage drinking. Children in an unsafe swimming situation without proper supervision. Please send someone immediately. The backyard went graveyard quiet except for the gentle lap of pool water. I just stood there, arms crossed, watching her dig the hole deeper. Because here's the thing about people like Karen, they think rules are weapons until someone else reads the fine print. The cruisers pulled up 10 minutes later. Lights flashing but sirens off. 2 officers stepped out. Sunglasses on. Looking like they'd rather be anywhere else. Karen practically sprinted to meet them. Clipboard flapping. Officers. Thank goodness. This man is in clear violation of multiple covenants. I demand you shut this down and issue citations. The lead cop glanced around the yard, kids in the pool with parents watching. Burgers on the grill. 0 broken laws in sight, then looked at me. This your residence? Sir? Yes. Sir. Ryan Harper. Private property. Deed's right here if you want to see it. Karen cut in. Voice climbing. That pool is a community eyesore and a liability. He's been warned repeatedly. The officer took the deed. Scanned it. Then handed it back. Ma'am. This document appears valid. County records show the pool and yard are outside HOA authority. No crimes being committed here. Karen's mouth opened and closed like a landed fish. But the children. The noise. This is outrageous. The second officer sighed. Everyone looks supervised to me. No open containers for minors. Sounds like a family barbecue. Not a riot. Karen's face went from red to purple. You're just going to let him mock the entire association? After everything I've done to maintain standards? The lead cop's tone stayed polite but carried steel. Our job is actual law. Ma'am. Not clipboard enforcement. I suggest you step back. That was the moment the mask cracked. You could almost hear it, tiny spiderweb fractures spreading across years of self-appointed power. She spun on her heel, muttering threats about higher authorities and this isn't over, and stormed out. The gates slammed again for emphasis. The cops tipped their hats, wished us a good day, and left. The backyard stayed silent for 3 full seconds. Then someone started slow clapping. Laughter rippled out. My nephew cannonballed into the pool with a victory whoop. The party came roaring back to life. Louder and lighter than before. But I knew Karen. This wasn't the end. It was the fuse. The fines started arriving the next week like clockwork. First for unauthorized gathering. Then excessive guests on private property. Then noise disturbance even though the party had wrapped by 8 p.m. Each one bigger than the last. 500. 800. They added up fast. She'd rallied the board. At the next HOA meeting, she stood at the podium painting me as public enemy number 1. If we allow this kind of flagrant disregard, what's next? People painting their houses purple? Turning every backyard into a water park? Her voice dripped honeyed concern. I'm only thinking of our property values. Our children's safety. Neighbors who used to wave now cross the street. My sister stopped bringing the kids over. Voice tight on the phone, I don't want them caught in the middle. Jake asked me quietly one afternoon. Did I get you in trouble for wanting a party? That one stung more than any fine. The isolation was the worst part. People I'd helped move furniture or jumpstart cars suddenly found the sidewalk on the other side of the street fascinating. Karen's gossip machine ran overtime, whispers about that troublemaker on Elm, about how I thought I was above the rules, about how my wild parties were destroying the neighborhood's character. I never argued in public. I just documented. Every fine. Every timestamp video of her pacing my fence line. Every late-night note taped to my door. My kitchen table turned into a war room of manila folders and screenshots. My lawyer friend took one look at the stack and whistled. This isn't enforcement. This is harassment with extra steps. You've got a case. I filed the lawsuit quietly. Abuse of authority. Malicious prosecution. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. I wasn't after money. I wanted the truth on record. Court day arrived and the small courtroom felt electric. Neighbors packed the benches. Some curious. Some guilty. Some still loyal to the Queen. Karen strode in wearing her best power pastel. Chin high. Clutching her sacred binder of evidence. She took the stand first and delivered a performance worthy of community theater. Your Honor. This man has systematically undermined everything our association stands for. Dozens of violations. Unauthorized events. Disregard for safety protocols. I have only ever acted in the best interest of the community. She waved photos of my yard like they were crime scene shots. The judge. An older guy with zero patience for nonsense. Listened with a face like granite. When it was my turn, I laid it all out. The deed. The county records. The mountain of retaliatory fines. The videos of her surveillance. The impact on my family. Then came the star witness, Alan Brooks from the county recorder's office. He walked in calm as Sunday morning and dropped the hammer. According to official records, The pool and surrounding yard were deeded as private property prior to the HOA's formation. The association has no legal authority over that portion of the land. Never has. The courtroom murmured. Karen's face went sheet white. Her mouth opened. But the righteous monologue wouldn't come. For the first time. She looked small. The judge didn't drag it out. Based on the evidence and testimony, the court finds the HOA acted outside its authority. Mrs. Whitaker personally engaged in a pattern of harassment. She is hereby removed from the board effective immediately. The association will pay damages and cease all enforcement actions against Mr. Harper's private property. Karen shot up. This is a miscarriage. I was protecting. Sit down. Mrs. Whitaker, the judge said flatly. You abused your position. That's not protection. That's tyranny with better stationery. The gavel cracked. The room exhaled. In the weeks that followed, the neighborhood breathed easier. People started waving again. My sister brought the kids over without looking over her shoulder. Jake asked when the next party was happening. I threw an even bigger one that August. No clipboard shadows this time. Just music. Laughter. And the smell of barbecue drifting down the street. Neighbors who'd avoided me for months showed up with side dishes and apologies. One older guy clapped me on the back and said, "We should have spoken up sooner. She had us all scared of our own backyards." Karen? She still lives on the block. But the power's gone. I see her sometimes walking her dog. Clipboard nowhere in sight. Ice sliding away when our paths cross. The new board actually talks to residents instead of ruling them. Quiet hours are suggestions. Not weapons. The pool's still there. Glittering under the sun. Kids still cannonball. Life goes on. But every once in a while, when the laughter gets loud and the music drifts over the fence, I catch a glimpse of her curtains twitching. And I smile. Because some people learn the hard way that your home is your castle. And no amount of pastel cardigans and fake community spirit can change that. So here's the question that always sticks with me. And I want to hear what you think in the comments. Was I wrong for hosting a simple family party in my own backyard? Or was Karen the one who crossed the line into straight-up bullying disguised as rules? Who was really threatening the neighborhood's harmony? Drop your take below. I read every one.